The evidence against the three men standing trial for the 2018 murder of X includes video evidence, cell phone evidence, and social media posts where they flash money believed to have been robbed from the late rapper. But Mauricio Padilla, the attorney for defendant Dedrick Williams, has implicated Toronto artist Drake as a possible culprit, citing lyrics and a 2018 post on X IG story, which stated, "If anyone kills me, it was Drake. I'm snitching." X, born Jasa Onfroy, later deleted the story and said he was hacked. But Padilla has nonetheless included it in his defense. Defense attorneys have been doing their best to pick the state's case apart, even referencing an alleged beef between X and famous rapper Drake. A defense attorney asked Corcio if he was aware of social media posts X made regarding the supposed bad blood between the two rappers. The first was allegedly, "If something happens to me, Drake did it, or if I get killed, Drake did it," and the second one was, "My account has been hacked." Again, I'm paraphrasing. "I have no problem with Drake," Corcio testified. Now, Drake, real name Aubrey Graham, faces a court order to testify for a deposition via Zoom on February 24th, and he's subject to a contempt of court charge if he ignores it. On February 9th, Padilla petitioned Broward Country Circuit Judge Michael Uzin for an order to show cause after Graham was served a subpoena but didn't show up to court on January 27th. During the trial's opening arguments, Padilla stated, "Before X died, he said, 'If anybody kills me, it's Drake.' Do you think, sitting here years later, any detective has ever asked Drake or anybody like that? No," he added. "This is one of the biggest celebrities in the world. Excluding an order from this court, we all know that I will never be able to take his deposition." Padilla also cited the February 2018 Parkland, Florida shooting, implying that Broward County investigators had devoted so many resources to the school shooting that they didn't properly investigate Onfroy's murder. Lawyer and former prosecutor Nima Rahmani calls Padilla's implication of Graham a Hail Mary attempt to muddy the waters for the jury. "It's a very tough case to defend," Rahmani says, citing the barrage of evidence against the three defendants. "So maybe you find a juror that believes in these types of conspiracy theories. They need a unanimous jury. Maybe a couple of jurors buy into this and you can hang the jury." He adds that the judge essentially has no choice but to allow the theory into court. The judge is saying, if this is their defense, even though there is no basis in fact, I'm not going to deny them their defense because they have a right as criminal defendants to present evidence that they think will exonerate them. If I deny them that opportunity, that's a potential appellate issue, and the verdict may be overturned. Attorney Steve Sato says it's a good strategy for Padilla to raise reasonable doubt. Being able to say some other dude did it, that's a big deal. He has a kernel of fact because the decedent says, "If I'm killed, Drake did it," so it's not as if it's just totally made up. He's got a little something there that he can use to support his position, which is, to be honest with you, a lot more than we have most of the time. Graham was specifically called for a pretrial discovery deposition. And Sato notes that Florida is one of the few states that allows such depositions for criminal cases as opposed to civil ones. The Atlanta-based attorney, who most recently represented rapper Gunna, says that you could never force someone to go under oath in a deposition in a Georgia criminal case. Both lawyers say that if Graham doesn't show up, a Florida judge has the grounds to fine him for every court date he misses or even issue a warrant making him subject to arrest if he enters the state. If Graham had an open warrant for contempt, he'd be put into the National Crime Information Computer, a database that both state and federal law enforcement use to log outstanding warrants. The warrant is good for the state of Florida, but no other state is going to enforce it unless you go to the state where Drake is living or he happens to be in, and you ask a judge in that state to also issue a warrant. Rahmani says, let's say he lives in California, and prosecutors go ask a California judge to issue an arrest warrant. 1. That's going to take a long time, and the case is ongoing. By the time you actually get that done and he's arrested, it's going to be too late. The second question, is California going to extradite? Rahmani says that the extradition process would include governors of both states, and is so onerous that it doesn't happen often, especially for a witness who isn't actually charged with anything. Prosecutors said there is no evidence linking Drake to the killing. Drake's lawyers argued that pulling him into the case without any evidence is unreasonable and oppressive, and the judge agreed. According to Billboard, suspects Michael Boatwright, Traven Newsom, and Dedrick Williams are charged with killing Xxxtentacion outside a Florida motorcycle store in what prosecutors alleged was a botched robbery that escalated to murder. Each suspect is facing a first-degree murder charge.